single military operation has triggered a wave of global anger. From Asia to Europe, protesters are taking to the streets, condemning what they call an assault on sovereignty. As Nicolás Maduro is transferred to U.S. custody, questions are being raised far beyond Venezuela's borders. This is no longer just a regional crisis, it's a worldwide reaction.
Shockwaves rippled across the globe as protests erupted on multiple continents in the aftermath of the U.S. attack on Venezuela and the capture of Nicolás Maduro. Crowds surged into the streets, massing outside American embassies and consulates, their chants echoing with fury and defiance. Demonstrators condemned the operation as a brazen assault on national sovereignty and a flagrant breach of international law, warning that the action could ignite dangerous consequences far beyond Venezuela's borders. In Seoul, South Korea, protesters assembled outside the U.S. Embassy, holding placards and chanting slogans against foreign intervention.
All of the so-called justifications for Trump's intervention were merely pretexts for military intervention. That's precisely what I firmly believe, and I am convinced that all these various actions seriously and profoundly undermine the fundamental sovereignty of the ordinary, everyday Venezuelan people. The land of Venezuela should be governed by Venezuelans. If foreign powers rule over it, how is that any different from creating a new colony or a protectorate? It was truly shocking to realize that the United States has no hesitation in using its military power based on such lies. Because right now, there are several regimes in South America that the United States does not approve of. Countries like Colombia and Cuba are examples, and I believe there is a very high possibility that this could expand to such nations. Wherever the United States has intervened, the blood of the people has flowed like a river. There has never been a single instance where U.S. intervention brought peace. It has always resulted in strengthening local dictatorships. In recent years, the United States has driven the people of Venezuela into a disaster of poverty and caused widespread suffering among the masses in an attempt to collapse Venezuelan society.
Similar scenes unfolded in Amsterdam, where demonstrators waved Venezuelan flags and carried signs reading "Against War and Imperialism." Protesters accused Washington of resource-driven intervention and criticized European governments for what they called silent complicity. Several demonstrators warned that Venezuela may not be the last. They argued the operation could embolden further U.S. interventions across Latin America, raising alarms about a wider regional precedent.
1492. That truly means we've been dealing with the indigenous Winca and the foreign Yankee and the gringo for many, many years. So this Trump is just another gringo, another Yankee who wants to impose, who wants to take the resources, who wants to make sure the people have nothing left to say.
This is a request based on the principle of government. This is a request regarding Venezuela. This is a request concerning the legitimacy of the duly elected president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro. Moros. And we are here to provide you with some valuable information because our government is condoning this attack on Venezuela, and we want that. It is known that not everyone here shares that position or belief, and we are here to represent the protest, which is also being expressed by the people of Venezuela who support the government and who are presumably being targeted because of their support for their president. Of course, there are a few other governments in Latin America that are also against U.S. imperialism, especially Nicaragua and Cuba. But in both cases, as in Venezuela, it is, of course, a mistake to think that you can change a popular movement by abducting its leader. They will find out that even if Nicolás Maduro is interested, and they will do the same as Daniel Ortega or Tom Miguel Diaz-Canel. This will not change the fact that the government is run by a popular movement that has its current roots in the masses and not simply reinforced by abducting one person.
I think this is just another episode of the European and European imperialist projects. Venezuela is just the most recent example. I'm also not entirely surprised if they decide to bring in a few other additional countries, especially those located in South America.
The U.S. operation involved airstrikes on Venezuelan military sites and the capture of Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. Both were transferred to the United States and are expected to face charges in New York, according to U.S. officials. In New York City, demonstrators gathered outside the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where Maduro is believed to be held. Protesters demanded his release, calling the detention illegal and politically motivated. Meanwhile, in Tehran, protesters displayed public murals and banners condemning the United States and Israel. The displays, featuring stark imagery and warnings, signaled rising regional tensions as reactions to the Venezuela operation continue to spread. The operation has unleashed a wave of international outrage, drawing sharp condemnation from across Latin America and from major global powers such as Russia and China. As tensions escalate, European governments have stepped forward with urgent calls for restraint, even as demands for adherence to international law grow louder and more insistent. The widening backlash signals a deepening global rift, with fears mounting that the crisis could spiral far beyond the region.